Okay, so today we have Rod Stewart, The Killing of Georgie, Part 1 and 2. So, and this is the official video as well. The video might get blocked. Might have to replace it. We'll see what happens. That's what how the cookie crumbles here. But anyway, Rod Stewart, my dad has always been a big fan of Rod Stewart. I grew up listening to a lot of Rod Stewart. A lot of his live performance from the Royal Albert Hall, I remember. A lot of that stuff. And because my dad had it on DVD. Anyway, and I've heard so many different Rod songs, but I've never heard of this one. And my dad was talking about it, and I thought, well, I got to get in. I got to listen to it. I mean, it reminds me off the bat, I have to say, because of the story, I guess. It kind of reminds me of Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat, which I really enjoyed. So anyway, let's get into this, talk about it after, and let's go into a heavy song. From what I've heard, of course. Whew.
Oh yeah.
So tender.
In these days of changing ways, so-called liberated days, a story comes to mind of a friend of mine. Georgie boy was gay, I guess, nothing more or nothing less, the kindest guy I ever knew.
Ooh.
His mother's tears fell in vain. The afternoon George tried to explain that he needed love like all the rest. Paul said there must be a mistake. How can my son not be straight after all I've said and done for him?
Good Lord.
Leaving home on a Greyhound bus, cast out by the ones he loves, a victim of these gay days it seems. Georgie went to New York town, where he quickly settled down and soon became the toast of the Great White Way. Accepted by Manhattan's elite in all the places that were chic. No party was complete without George. Along the boulevards he cruised, and all the old queens blew a fuse. Everybody loved Georgie boy. Time I saw George alive was in the summer of '75. He said he was in love. I said I'm pleased. George attended the opening night of another Broadway hype, but split before the final curtain fell. Deciding to take a shortcut home, arm in arm they meant no wrong. A gentle breeze blew down Fifth Avenue. Side street came a New Jersey gang with just one aim, to roll some innocent passerby. There ensued a fearful fight, screams rung out in the night. George's head hit a sidewalk cornerstone. A leather kid, a switchblade knife, he did not intend to take his life. He just pushed his luck a little too far that night. The sight of blood dispersed the gang. A crowd gathered, the police came. An ambulance screamed to a halt on 53rd and 3rd.
Goodness.
George's life ended there, but I ask who really cares. George once said to me, and I quote, he said, never wait or hesitate. Get in, kid, before it's too late. You may never get another chance. 'Cause youth's a mask, but it don't last. Live it long and live it fast. Georgie was a friend of mine.
Oh, goodness. Powerful. go. My goodness. Rod Stewart, The Killing of Georgie, Part 1 and 2. My God. So, again, this song, being, almost 6.5 minutes long, there's so much to say here. There's such a big, powerful story, a strong message from Rod here. And again, doing this in 1976 and releasing it and making it, I guess, from what I've read here, be a hit, is just so powerful. I mean, it's a testament to the success of Rod Stewart and, how big he's been for so long now, had the success he's had. And again, I have to say off the top too, what people might have heard this back in 1976, because again, I think about the time, I think about the people out at that point, I think about the Sex Pistols there behind me, God Save the Queen and all that, and how there was so much pushback against them, and, from different groups and such. I think about with Rod Stewart here talking about a gay man, a gay friend, of course, who was murdered, and I think about, did people really understand the story? Maybe, I don't know if they were just listening to the song, and maybe they didn't hear everything he was saying, but again, the story is so kind of straightforward. I would think, I guess you would hear everything, but again, it's just so kind of neat that this was a hit back then for the times, and and how Rod started off the song talking about the times they're in back in 1976, and how relevant this song is still is today. And I just spit, good Lord. Anyway, and again, Rod Stewart, from the beginning, with with that, oh yeah, I mean, just sets the tone. He has such a great voice, that raspiness that he's always possessed. And again, his distinctive voice. I mean, when it's Rod Stewart singing a song, no one really sounds like Rod Stewart. I just love his voice, and I always have. And he's always so, I mean, he's hot, I gotta say there too, back at here as well, in his younger days, and he just was such a colorful guy. The suits he always had on, I guess you would say as well, always colorful, I don't know, he knew how to, grab your attention, I guess I'm saying. And, but anyway, here, talking about a friend that he had, and I guess it's also basically a true story of a guy he was friends with when he was in the Faces, I guess it was, and, and how he was murdered, back in, I guess, around 1975, 76 here, as he says in the song. And, anyway, so yeah, just talking about a powerful message here, a strong message here, and again, just to talk about the instrumentation as well. Love the keyboards, I guess you would say there. Love the tinkling of the keys. Just how subtle everything was. The doo-doo-to-doos and stuff like that with the background vocals were beautiful. The string arrangements on this track too. Very kind of subtle. Obviously, I guess we're talking about, soft rock here. And that really fits with the context of the song, I would say, and I guess you could have done this either way, with powerful drums or whatever the hell too. But here, I just love the kind of subtleness of it all, and how Rod's voice is kind of the focal point, and the story is the focal point as well. The story about Georgie here, and the killing of Georgie, and again, I guess the killing of Georgie. I mean, the title right there kind of tells you the whole story. Somebody named Georgie here is got killed. So yeah, I just loved the instrumentation again, and how soft everything was, and how beautiful it was, and how subtle, and the pauses from Rod really kind of said a lot too. I just really enjoyed it for what it is, and again, the story is maybe not that enjoyable, but again, it's so relevant even today, and powerful. And Rod here talking about this back in the 70s is just so cool to hear. I just love that Rod did this. And again, I talked about earlier about Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat, and how coming into this it kind of just made me think about that because of the story my dad told me about the song. And again, it kind of fits there, how Bronski Beat would come out with Small Town Boy, I think in 1984, so about 8 years after this came out. Again, just ahead of their time. So anyway, my goodness, and Rod of course was too. So I guess, off the top, I guess that's all I wanted to say with that. So getting into these lyrics, because that's the meat of the matter here. So with the intro, like I said, the oh yeah, and again, just Rod, just coming into, he could say anything right off the top, and he just sounds so sexy. And again, of course, with his song, Do You Think I'm Sexy? Anyway, the first verse. In these days of changing ways, again, the time of 1976, everything's changing. And again, it's as society progresses. I mean, my God, evolution, all this stuff, things always are changing. So right off the bat, so-called liberated days, a story comes to mind of a friend of mine. Again, I don't know. There's so many poignant lines here, I have to say, right off the bat. And I wish I could say, what the most poignant one is. But again, there's so many of them where Rod is just, telling a story, and you can just he's depicting a story so well, you can just see it in your head when he's talking about later on when Georgie's walking down the street and the wind's blowing. Anyway, we're not there yet, but I'm just going. Georgie boy was gay, I guess. And again, how Rod is just kind of saying it didn't matter to him. I mean, and to some people, again, even today, you talk about somebody being gay, and it's a big to-do for some people, I guess, for some parents as well. But for Rod, it's just like, okay, whatever. Again, you're gay. I don't care about you, or it doesn't do anything to our relationship. Nothing more, nothing less. The kindest guy I ever knew. And again, just kind of putting Georgie on a pedestal here. His mother's tear fell in vain. The afternoon, George tried to explain that he needed love like all the rest. Again, just so heartbreaking because, of course, Georgie's parents are not the most accepting of Georgie's, I guess, sexual orientation, whatever the hell, of Georgie being gay here. Pa said, and this is not supposed to make you laugh, it's probably supposed to make you angry, make you frustrated, but again, it's just so dumb. There must be a mistake. How can my son not be straight after all I've said and done for him? Again, it's just like, I don't know. I don't have time for those kind of people. It's just nuts. Anyway, and again, those people are still here today, obviously. Parents still, if you come out to a parent or whatever, and this still happens today, where the mom or dad might be like, well, after all I've done, how can you be gay? It's just like, what a weird way to go about it. Second verse, leaving home on a Greyhound bus. And again, this so much reminds me of Bronski Beat's Small Town Boy. Again, Georgie sounding like he's coming from a small town, and he says, fuck this, I'm going somewhere else. And, he goes to New York, I guess you would say. Cast out by the ones he loves. Again, just the ones he loves. Just not being able to accept their boy because he's gay. It's nuts. Anyway, a victim of these gay days, it seems. And again, what Rod is talking about here is just so poignant again and important, vital for the time. And again, I did talk about earlier how, maybe people listening to this didn't, catch everything at the time. But, with these lyrics, I mean, I guess it would be hard not to, I guess I would have to say, to go back on that point. Georgie went to New York town, where he quickly settled down and soon became the toast of the Great White Way, accepted by Manhattan's elite and all the places that were chic. Again, I just love the rhyming here, too. It just fits so well. And then we go on. No party was complete without George. Along the boulevards he'd cruise, and all the old queens blew a fuse. Everybody loved Georgie boy. So it sounds great. I mean, it seems like Georgie's story is, he's risen from the ashes here. Everyone loves him where he's at now. Everything's going so well. But we know it's not going to end well. I mean, it's a sad time. The last time I saw George alive, so right there, it's just like, oh God, what happened to George? Was in the summer of 75. He said he was in love. I said, I'm pleased. Again, he's in love. Great to hear. You're finally out of your small town, I guess you might say, away from the people you loved, but they don't love you back now. And you're finding your own crew here. You're finding somebody you love, your partner. Anyway, George attended the opening night of another Broadway hype, but split before the final curtain fell, decided to take a shortcut home. And right then, it's just like, oh, what's going to happen here? He took a shortcut. A way home he never has, I guess, and that's not going to be good, I guess. Arm in arm, they meant no wrong. I guess with his partner, I guess you would say he's walking arm in arm with his partner. A gentle breeze blew down Fifth Avenue. And again, you can just see this in your head of, the story happening. These visuals, just Rod is just a master at that. Out of a darkened side street came a New Jersey gang with just one aim, to roll some innocent passerby. And again, at this point, I'm thinking, did this gang know that Georgie was gay? I mean, or did they just do it because they wanted to do it to somebody? They wanted to kill somebody, and it just happened to be Georgie. That also comes to mind. But either way, Georgie did pass away. And of course, he wasn't loved, I guess, by his family, or wasn't accepted by his family. But whether this gang knew he was gay or not, maybe they did. I don't know. Either way, going on. There ensued a fearful fight. Screams rang out in the night. George's head hit a sidewalk cornerstone. Again, just, oh my goodness gracious. A leather kid, a switchblade knife. He did not intend to take his life. He just pushed his luck a little too far that night. And again, it seemed like maybe they didn't mean to kill Georgie, but that's what happened. Again, this is, New York at nighttime. The streets here, they're not always, I guess, the most savory of places. He just pushed his luck too much that night. The sight of blood dispersed the gang. So the gang, just disappeared. A crowd gathered. The police came. An ambulance screamed to a halt on 53rd and 3rd. Of course, 53rd and 3rd, a great Ramones song. And then we go on with the sixth verse. Georgie's life ended there, but I asked, who really cares? George once said to me, and I quote, and again, you can just see how much Rod loved Georgie here, how much Georgie meant to him. He talks about what Georgie told him here. He said, never wait or hesitate. Get in, kid, before it's too late. You may never get another chance, because youth's a mask, but it don't last. But it don't last. My God, live it long and live it fast. Georgie was a friend of mine. Oh yeah, and just that line there, for the time, Georgie was a friend of mine, whether he was gay or not. He just happened to be gay, I guess. You know, it's so powerful, and it's so again, vital for the time. I can't say it enough. Oh, Georgie, stay, don't go away. You know, I guess this is part of the whole stay part, I guess, would be the part 2 of the song, where Rod is just trying to, I guess, tell Georgie, you know, to stay, you know, pretty much lamenting a friend here that he lost, and just saying, you know, he wishes he was still here. Georgie, please stay, take our breath away. Oh, don't go away. Georgie, please stay. And that's repeated. And again, I think about maybe, and this might not have anything to do with it, but how Georgie was at the play, or he was at the Broadway play, whatever it was, and musical, and maybe Rod is almost saying, you know, he should have stayed there instead of leaving early, and maybe this wouldn't have happened. That also comes to my head. But either way, it sounds like Rod is just kind of missing his friend, obviously, here, and wanting him to stay, wanting him to come back, and, you know, he didn't want him to go away. He wanted him to stay. And like many other people, it seems like in New York, wanted him to stay. So anyway, my goodness gracious, what a great track. What a... I don't even know. I've said all the words. It's a very powerful, very powerful track. A track that I didn't know Rod did. Again, a track that I'm happy I finally know now, and a track that says so much. And Rod is such a great storyteller here, and you know, depicting a true story. You know, unfortunately, of the passing of one of his friends. And yeah, so again, I just love it. And again, just talking about these things. You know, talking about how his parents didn't accept him. You know, the small town, I guess you would say, he was in. He had to leave. He had to flee it. And once he did, he found happiness. And then the happiness was taken away. One night, I mean, my God, on 53rd and 3rd. So anyway, again, just so much being said here, and you can't really break it down in a video like this, you know, just after one listen. You got to listen to it a few times and really take it all in and really appreciate what Rod's doing here. So anyway, I guess that's all I'm going to say, though. This video is long enough, my God. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I know some people have requested Rod in the past, and I do believe somebody suggested this after I listened to Bronski Beats, Small Town Boy, so here we are. And yeah, I'm happy I did it. So anyway, again, thanks for all your support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.